This is the most insane car crash I think I've ever seen, and it's going viral right now in China, all over China. A lot of people in China are saying that this proves how good Chinese EVs are. Now, I actually drove this car around a racetrack in China. It's got 1,300 horsepower. It's a family 5-seat SUV station wagon, and it does 0 to 100 in 2 seconds. It's got carbon ceramic brakes. If I could own one of these, I'd be dreaming. And this is like basically my dream car. But someone was driving one of these at ridiculous speed in the streets in China, and this is what happened. And I'm still looking at this crash thinking, what? What is going on here? It actually reminds me of the one person who survived that Indian flight plane crash, right? The plane crashed a few days ago, and only one person survived. Hello, my friends. Welcome to the channel. I'm Sam Evans. I'll be at the EV Auto Show on the 27th, 28th, and 29th in Melbourne. I'll put a link in the description so you can get 25% discount on your tickets. I'll be speaking at that show, and I'd also love to meet you in person. Geely, they unveiled their what could be called a real rival to the Xiaomi SU7 Ultra. This was about 18 months ago, and luckily I got to test drive this car around a racetrack. It's awesome. It's a big car, though, a big car with a hell of a lot of power. Now, it's actually 4,977 millimeters long, so it's 5 meters long, and it's 196 inches. The actual width is 78.7 inches or 2 meters wide. So you can see this is not a small car, and it's got a hell of a lot of power. Carbon ceramic brakes. It's also got a 35.5-inch heads-up display, some really impressive software, and a 95 kilowatt hour lithium iron phosphate battery, which apparently can charge the car in 11 minutes. So 11-minute charging. They might have even upgraded. I know that Geely now has, or Zeekr is now using a new battery pack which can charge in 8 minutes. Absolutely insane. So what actually happened? Well, Chinese social media is kind of going crazy about this. The video shows the remains, 3 separate parts of the Zeekr 001 FR that crashed on a Chinese road. And it's bizarre because the guy driving it, right, he's just sitting there totally fine. But the car is in 3 separate pieces. The driver miraculously survived what appears to be with only very minor injuries. And he, as you can see here, he's talking to a police officer who is using his smartphone to catch everything on camera. And then apparently the guy grabs something and hands it to a police officer in the last seconds of the video. The video was recorded immediately after the crash. There were no first responders except the police who had arrived at the scene yet. In a subsequent picture, you can see firefighters actually spraying water on the battery. So the battery in this car is not the lithium iron phosphate version. It's actually the NMC version, or the NCM version, nickel cobalt manganese battery. It is, of course, a lithium battery. But anyway, apparently that actually did catch on fire, which is very, very rare. One of the rarest situations I've seen. And often, even in these crashes, when the battery pack is in a separate place, because the crash was so crazy, the battery usually doesn't catch on fire. Anyhow, the driver's okay. And a lot of people say that's because of the structural rigidity of that sort of that cell around the driver. Anyway, I don't know what to think of this, but you've got to say the truth is this. The Zeekr 001 has gone through crazy crash testing like all other cars do in China and in Europe, and it got a 5-star safety rating. In fact, it was one of the safest cars that's been tested in China and Europe. So it's definitely considered a very strong car. It has a very strong structure. I actually saw the structural battery pack and the platform of these cars when I was in China at Geely's factory, at the Zeekr factory, in fact. Anyway, the power. It has 1,250 horsepower from 4 motors. The only real car that kind of competes with it is, like I said, the Xiaomi SU7 Ultra. Now, what Xiaomi did was, lots of these have been crashed, lots of Xiaomi's been crashed, And Xiaomi actually reduced the power from 1,548 horsepower down to 900 horsepower. They said the only way they're going to enable you to get the full horsepower, this is even after you've bought the car, is to actually go to a racetrack and prove that you're a good driver. And then they'll unlock the full power for you. Now, obviously, customers were furious at this. And they said to Xiaomi, this is insane. You ripped us off. It's completely unfair. There was a big controversy around this recently in China. A lot of people, though, are asking the question, are EVs getting too powerful? I mean, the Xiaomi SU7 Ultra has 1,550 horsepower. So it has an additional 300 horsepower over the Zeekr 001. It's really probably a bit too powerful. I think it's overpowered. I honestly think it doesn't make sense because you can't really put 1,550 horsepower through those tires. You really need, semi-slicks that are, say, full-on race car tires to be able to put that kind of power down to the ground. So I kind of see where, what people are saying is there's some accuracy to these points, saying they're too powerful. But when I personally drove the Zeekr 001 FR, I felt like the power didn't hit you in the way you would expect it to. And maybe they put some sort of setting on for me because they thought this guy's an idiot, he can't drive, but hopefully not. I think I'm an all right driver. So I think what it is the way they deliver the power is not as wild as what you'd think. But in China, there's quite a few people who haven't grown up driving performance cars or haven't had the opportunities that I've had in my earlier days to have hot hatches and drive some quick cars. And a lot of people that just don't have any experience and they're getting these cars, they're buying them, and then it's sort of, whoa, maybe too much power for some people. Let me know your thoughts in the comments. Two new cars are coming, the Zeekr 7X and the Xpeng G9. They're coming to, well, they're already in Europe, just arrived in Europe, both of them. Both of them, we know the prices and the details. The size of these cars, they're mid to large electric SUVs. Both of them have very, very long range, incredibly fast charging. You're looking at 10 to 12 minutes, 10 to 13 minutes, depending on the battery size. And they're both coming to Australia. Here are the details of the new 7X and what I think it's actually going to cost. I know many of you are waiting to buy a Zeekr 7X. A lot of you have told me this, and you've been asking, what are the prices going to be? Is it going to be the same price as a Model Y? I've been saying, no, it's not. But I think we have a pretty good idea now of the pricing and the range of the Zeekr 7X for Europe and very likely for Australia within only a few months' time. Here are the details based on the European prices compared to the Tesla Model Y. We can extrapolate what the price will be approximately in Australia, and obviously I can reveal what the prices are in Europe as well.